gorgeous.
Hi, how are you, gorgeous?
Good. How are you?
Oh, you look amazing. I love that hair.
You're cute. You know you're a cutie pie. I'm so happy to have you and talking to you today. I'm so excited. I love your background, by the way.
Thank you, girl. That is yellow paint.
That
was like an accent wall, and it kind of lucked up and became my nice background.
Girl, it's cute. It is cute. Courtney, how are you?
What's going on over there? Is that a
It's like a little floral situation going on.
I like
little floral. How are you?
I'm doing well. Happy Friday to you. I mean, just, we are yet holding on.
Girl, it's been a week, right?
It has been a week.
It's been a week. And so we're going to dive right in.
It's been on a roll. Let's not, it's been a year, but we are blessed to be here. It's Friday, and I think that, not to jump the gun a little bit, but I really hope that this show brings some laughter, which equals love for me to a lot of people. So
yes,
I'm excited.
I'm sure that it is. I know that it is. You're on it, so I definitely know that it is. Before we get started, I just want to acknowledge today. So today, 57 years ago, over 200,000 people descended upon the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, fighting for justice, right? Today, other thousands of people, again, are on the Lincoln Memorial, again, fighting for justice for our people. The ongoing killing of our people by the hands of the police, the systemic racism, the systematic racism, just the fight for justice for us, right? And I want to ask you, because I know that you're out there as well, and you've been out there protesting, and I'm going to get into that a little bit as well. What can we do to disrupt racism in our communities? What can we do?
You know what? I really think it's about a relationship. That's a really good question. And I think there's so many things, right? I think there are things that we need to be doing across the board, from mental health, wellness, right? Education, policing, housing, and just all in all, we need to be looking at relationships. I mean, even our relationship with the police. Like, I think it's unfortunate that they aren't able to come to the table and have these conversations because unions are kind of keeping them stuck, right? But if we were married, husband and wife, there's no way we can work on having a good relationship if both parties are not willing to come to the table and talk, right?
That's good.
So,
that's good.
I really think that's important. There's this book called The 5 Love Languages. Have you read that?
Yes. I'm married, so yes.
Me too, girl. So look, we read that book. It's important to know the love language, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's important for us to have this relationship, with many people, like you said, policing, yes, but and what is the love language? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is our love language? I have family members who are police officers, and one example that was given to me is like, knowing how to talk to people in certain neighborhoods. That's why they got to come and hang out with us and learn how to pull up and know that when I'm loud, I might not be trying to fight you. I'm just excited. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
Because that's what happens in the small neighborhoods, in rural towns. They know Jimmy down the street is a drunk, right? So when they go pick Jimmy up, they like, Jimmy, now I'm gonna take you to your mama house. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna lock you up, right? Or whatever we're gonna do, but they don't know us like that, to like with Rayshard Brooks, for them to say, hey, you know what, we're gonna go drop you off at your sister's house. You were driving illegally, we're gonna come back and pick you up tomorrow, though. Whatever it is. But they have to learn how to love us.
I love that.
And vice versa, but
vice versa. I love that. That's a good point. That's a really good point.
Okay.
It was only a few months ago that you were out protesting with Nia. I spoke to her a few months ago as well. We talked a little bit about you guys, exchange with the 2 white ladies who were vandalizing the Starbucks at the Grove. Just this week, we have Kyle Rittinghouse, who he said he was out there protecting, he was cleaning graffiti off, but he killed 2 people and injured 1 in the name of he was out there to protect and help the police, right? What were your thoughts, Courtney, when you heard this and you found out about this? Because you were just out there and seeing people like a Kyle, you know, pretending that they're there for the sake of the cause, but they weren't. What did you think when you heard and saw this on the news?
Heartbroken, right? That's heartbroken and angered, right? And so as a parent and as a former educator, I would like to also make sure that we are looking at his mother as well. He's 17 years old and will probably be tried as an adult, right? But his mama dropped him off, locked and loaded, and probably picked him up and took him home that night, you know, unless he had another ride. So what I think about Mr. Kyle is that, you know, we have to protect our protests. And I think when Nia and I were out there that day, that is exactly why I spoke up and said something to that young lady, because we had just left a peaceful protest, ran into police officers at 2:00 in the afternoon. You're out here with tear gas and rubber bullets, you know, and then to run into them. And I think what kind of sent me an overload too, you know, I'm a nurturer, I'm a parent, so of course I'm looking at her like, what are you doing and you're not supposed to be doing that, but I also saw other people standing around and not saying anything. We have to speak up, right? There is no way that you just left a peaceful protest and you see someone that is not Black tagging Black Lives Matter and you don't say anything. No, escort them out of your protest. Right. And I think the same thing with Kyle, you know, so instead of people encouraging him, like dropping him off to be there, somebody should have been trying to usher him out. And unfortunately, the two people that were killed, I believe, were trying to do that.
Yes, and the people that were encouraging him were the police. So they were giving bottled water and, you know, thanking them for being out there. So that part as well.
There's even a video released of some guys that he was hanging out with that said the police officers were like, hey, I'm going to push them that way towards y'all and then we're leaving, right? So it's like, you know, and then you have the police chief who got on the air and, you know, got on the interview and said, you know, well, they asked if we wanted to deputize them. And I said, no, right? But you said, no, you wouldn't deputize them. But did you also discourage them from coming out, you know, and just allowing these people to peacefully assemble? So we have a lot of work to do.
We do. We definitely have a lot of work to do. Thank you for using your voice and being out there at the protest and, you know, using your platform to bring about the change that we're seeking. So thank you for that, Court.
Thank you.
So let's get into it. So you grew up in Chicago
in
the Roseland area. Talk to us about what were your early career aspirations? What did you want to be when you were, let's say, 5 or like 8 years old? What did you want to be?
A star. That's what I told my mom I wanted to be. A star, mommy. I want to be a star. You know, I probably did it just like that at about 5.
I love it.
So she tried to do what she could. She put me into, you know, a ballet class, honey. She had me modeling. In Chicago, there's a theater called ETA. And then they have a great program of arts. So we would go there, you know, so I took a little piano lesson. I took some Catherine Dunn dance and, you know, like all of those kind of things. So, you know, she tried to feed that creative in me. And, that's what I wanted to do at that age. And so,
look at God. And look at God. And so who were some of your early inspirations on TV and in film? Who were you looking at on TV and in movies? Who were you like, oh, I want to be like that. That's who I want to be like.
You know what? I think there's so many, right? Like I grew up with like, you know, Moesha was on the air, right? I grew up, the Parkers was on the air. I grew up in the Cosbys were on, A Different World, Living Single, what was the Wayans show?
The Wayans brothers,
In Living Color.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I had all of those things. And then like movie stars, of course, I had people like, you know, to look at like, you know, Halle Berry was young. You had people like Angela Bassett and, you know, I think Viola Davis. So you know, all of those people, Raven Simone, you know,
Yeah,
just looking at young actors, Lisa Bonet. So there were plenty for us to look at.
definitely. All of those. Same. I loved all of those.
Yes,
And you have a love for kids, and you went on to receive a bachelor's in elementary education with a minor degree in English language arts.
I
Of course,
did.
at what point, you're an educator, a former educator, at
Yes,
what
ma'am.
point did you switch gears? At what point did you say, okay, I'm leaving the classroom behind to pursue being a star full time?
I know that's right, girl.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you, and I've said this before. I think that you know how they tell boys that everybody can't be a football player, everybody can't be in the NFL and the NBA. I
Right.
think that I let that sink in. And I think I told myself that I couldn't be you know, that, oh, girl, get over that modeling and acting. That's not what you're going to do. But what happened is that I think I started teaching and started talking to these children. I've always taught in an inner city school, Title I school. And I'm telling these kids to live their dream.
Right.
And the belief of that just continued to compound. And I think it kind of manifested in me, you know, something, an even stronger belief that my dreams could come true. And I got to questioning myself, and I'm like, Courtney, have you lived all of your dreams? Like, I love teaching. I love being a positive influence and, you know, feeding into our communities. But if I got to 80 years old and I asked myself, had I done everything that I wanted to do, had I done that?
Right.
And my answer was no.
Right.
So with my grown self, I found myself divorced. I found myself, because I married young, I found myself divorced. I didn't have any kids at the time. And I was like, let me get into this, you know, let me represent women who look like me, you know. And so that was what I wanted to do. And so I started dibbling and dabbling. So I was doing both for a very long time. I was trying to find independent projects, like good independent projects, right? So that I could get me a reel together. I was trying to, you know, open my network of people that I knew. And at some point, there was the question of, could I continue to do both things? You know?
Right. Oh, yeah.
And we've all seen the video of Steve Harvey say, we got to take that leap, you know, or whatever version of that story we've all heard. You have to take the leap. And so I moved out to LA. I had been working in Atlanta acting and teaching for like 8 years. And I was like 7 years. And I was like, I'm going to go full time. I moved to LA and I've been going full time since then. And here we are.
Wow, Courtney, I can definitely relate to that. That's very inspiring. Thank you for sharing that. Just because I feel like a lot of people are stuck, right? A lot of people are stuck in a career that, you know, their family may have said, okay, you're good. You have a good job. Or a significant other may say, you're good. We're settled. This is good. But for them, that's not where they want to be. So shout out to you for taking that leap of faith and saying, no, this is not it. Even though this is good, and you will always be a teacher, right? In your heart.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
But you had to do what was best for you. What were some of your early struggles? Okay, you left Atlanta, moved to LA. LA is not easy, right? It's not.
Girl, that rent. Okay.
I mean, look, what were some of your early struggles moving to LA and then just being here and trying to pursue, and not trying, but pursuing in LA full time? What were your early struggles?
Early struggles. Not finding the work. You know, paying much higher rent. I moved from Atlanta, Georgia to Los Angeles, where the rent like doubled and the space like was divided in half. I mean, you know, like some people, you know, do waitressing jobs and things like that. Like I was an educator, and I didn't really have that as a training, and nobody was willing to like train me to be a waitress at my age, right? Which we ain't gonna talk about, but nobody was willing to train me, you know, to do that. Right. So I opted for driving Lyft and Uber, which was a blessing. And so I'll tell you this: I got my first apartment when I was 19 years old. I found in LA. I was evicted. My car was repossessed. Girl. I was driving Uber in the middle of the night, trying to find a nice neighborhood to go go just
Go to
take a nap. Oh, you know, like, so
Girl.
you found yourself doing those things so that but I did those things so that I didn't have to go work a full-time job, right? So that I could get to my auditions.
Right.
But I knew when I moved here that was the sacrifice that I would be. You know, I've always told myself when I moved here, I was like, look, I might have to eat oatmeal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but that's a sacrifice that I'm willing to make for me.
Girl, look,
right? For me.
You just
come on,
to
for
all
me.
of us.
What am I gonna do for me? We talk about Black women and protecting Black women, but Black women are always giving, right? And we have to feed ourselves, right? We got to put that oxygen mask on and let ourselves breathe before we can let others breathe. And I think that's something that we've learned. And so these were sacrifices. Look, girl, come on, we can breathe. But those were some of the, you know, some of the sacrifices that we had to make. And I won't say that all of those days were easy, but I will say that I prayed, and I will say that my family and my friends, my support system came in handy for me, you know, because they will allow you to fill up on love, you know, which would kind of just allow me to take it just a little bit farther. So,
I love that, Court. I definitely, we have to talk
offline
because I can definitely relate to that. What advice could you share with those that are watching or may watch this later? Hey, Trell, that are wanting to break into the
I know we saying hi, girl. I got some people on here too. Hey, Trell. Hey, sister. I know. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. What advice could you give to those that are watching or may watch this later that are wanting to break into the industry? And they may not want to make the sacrifices like you have made. They may not want to be eating oatmeal, but, you know, they want to break into the industry.
I'm going to get that on a shirt, girl. I'm going to be like, y'all don't want to eat oatmeal. Okay.
You better eat the oatmeal.
I know. So I would say, you know, there's no one path, right? There's no one path to living out your dreams. And if it is acting, I would say do the work. I would say get in class, right? And you working, and I understand that, but you need to pick a class to go to once or twice a week and extend yourself a little bit, right? Because it's like going to the gym. You're going to go to the gym. There's no way that, you know, you can work these muscles that you need to be easily accessible to you on set. If you're not in the gym working those muscles, you know, so our gym is acting class. And, you know, with that, you know, I mean, it comes a lot of things that could build your network of people. You can make your own content because now you got some other active friends. So it's beneficial. So I would say class. I would say get you some good headshots, right? And I would say try to start working on a good reel, right? Some examples of your work. There are companies that will actually write, direct, film, and edit your stuff for you, or you can get you and your community together and start filming. You know, get some good cameras. These iPhones and these Samsung, everything is real. They have really good cameras. You can make your own, create your own content. So I would say make you your plan A, which I learned, right? And then, you know, Hollywood is your plan B. You build it, they will come.
Girl, you preaching today. Let the church say amen. Let the church say amen. I love it, Court. I love it.
Thank
you. It paid off for you. It's paid off, right? So you have appeared in several film and TV projects, including The Last Assignment, Secured Tightly, SWAT, Snowfall, and then you also done a lot of theater work, right?
Yes.
And you you were a student at Richard Lawson's studio. Is that right?
Yeah.
And you starred in the Pulitzer Prize winning play No Place to Be Somebody, produced by Miss Tina Knowles Lawson and Richard Lawson. How did you come to work and meet with them? That's really exciting.
Oh my gosh. So I was a mentor of mine. Her name is Lalanya. She introduced me to, she had taken, you know, classes there and is friends with Mr. Lawson. And so when I came to Atlanta, I was looking for some good schools, and there are several here. You know, I went and audited like Aaron Spicer Studios, Richard Lawson Studios. There's another place that I love. Gosh, I can't think of the name of it, but it's in West Hollywood. And so I went and audited, and one of the things that I love about the class is that you are learning how to critique yourself, which is what you're going to be doing on set pretty much, unless the director tells you to do something else, right? And the energy there, right? It was like before the teaching even started, the community celebrates each other's wins. And, you know, I think that was important. I needed to find my tribe here in LA. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's important that you find your tribe, speaking of things to do. And so with that, yeah, I started there, and that was a beautiful journey. Like, I went in, you know, full steam ahead, and I just tried to get all that I could. Honey, I got notebooks over here of notes. Okay.
Wow.
And with that relationship, and you know, I was also able to, you know, take on a job working at Waco Theater Center. I was the admin manager, so that was one of, you know, a job. But again, that was a job that supported my career. You know, I'm like, okay, these are actors. I could learn a lot. I want to run my own nonprofit organization. Like, why wouldn't I come and absorb all of this greatness from Miss Tina and Richard? So that's exactly what I did. And then I was able to, I ended up doing No Place to Be Somebody there. Awesome play. I've done Fences in Atlanta, another awesome play. So, you know, I just love the stage, and those are beautiful relationships. So, and that's important.
It's very important. And now, next week, we get to watch you on our screen every Wednesday on BT.
Girl, you're going to make me scream on here.
I am so excited about this. So next week is the premiere of Tyler Perry's new sitcom, Assisted Living, starring you, starring the Browns. Okay, spill the tea. Tell us all about it. You play Leah. Give us the tea. Come on, Court.
You want some tea, girl? Honey, what? This show is a mess. Let me tell you, like, we started this conversation talking about how interesting 2020 has been. And, you know, when we would pray on set before we started, I you know, one thing Miss Tamala Mann used to, you know, when she would say prayer sometimes, is that laughter is love. You know, and so I really hope that they feel the love that we have poured in this, everyone from Tyler Perry, Mr. Perry on down. And, you know, I'm so glad they're able to receive it now, so we can get some good guttural laughs or, you know, things like that. Honey. But it's funny. So we're from Chicago, so my family is from Chicago. So look at that in the show. And we go down to visit my grandfather, honey, and he has bought this building, an assisted living building, and they making no money. Ain't nobody in there. It look a hot mess, right? So my husband just lost his job. So many relatable things that happen in the show, you know, like, and so how do we as wives continue to still support our husbands in that moment? Or that's very scary for a family of 4. I got some teenagers, girl. These kids like big gifts. You can't give kids $20 no more, okay?
No $20.
They want the Xbox. Yeah, they want 100 or more. They give you a list, and everything is $100. I was like, nah, wait, hold on a minute. So anyway, but so I think that you know, that's that. So we came down there to hang with him, and so you'll get to see what happens when we invade his space and how he receives that. And then Miss Tamala and so David, man, Mr. Brown and Courtney come in as possible investors, you know. So that's how they kind of make their way into the story. And it's kind of like, now what do? We got these 2 grumpy old men. And honey, look, that just sent my stress levels up thinking about the 2 grumpy old men.
It sounds very relatable, though. It sounds very relatable.
Absolutely. Like, how many of us, I don't know about you, but my grandfather actually lived with us. Like, when I was in high school, he moved in and my grandfather was there. Wow. So, you know, so many of us grew up with our grandparents or had to go stay with our grandparents, right?
Oh, definitely.
Or how many of us have had to move because our parents said move, and then what that turned out like, you know. So there's so many stories that Mr. Perry has weaved into this. You know, he is a mastermind, honey. I don't even know what he's working on right now because, you know, he's had a lot of time to sit and think. You know, he's coming up with a master plan, right?
He's just dropping these shows out left and right. We're like, now, wait a minute.
Now, let me say something. I want to say that in December, he showed this video where he had all these scripts laid out on the table. And I had not auditioned or the audition was like coming up, right? So I saw that. And then last year we all saw his humanitarian award speech on the BET Awards. And when I tell you how happy I was to hear him talk about these new shows that he was about to bring to BET and this new relationship with BET, and then you see Sisters come out and then you see The Oval come out. To be one of those shows.
Look, God is good, Court.
He is awesome, amazing.
You're a star.
He let me be a star.
You are a star, Court. It's so okay. I have a few more questions for us.
Okay, let's go
about this show. So you didn't audition. You auditioned for several other of his shows. Is that right? Before
I did end up auditioning for a couple of shows. Yep.
And so you didn't get those calls. And so were you discouraged at any point? Did you feel like, okay, maybe that is gonna be my thing?
I'm going to say no, not at this point in my career, right? Because I think one of the things at this point in our career, we know that we can't take the no's that we get from auditions. Getting an audition is a win. So what I have learned to do is celebrate the wins, right? So there are people that aren't getting the auditions that I got. How dare I complain, right? So there's that. So it would just be like, and it's so funny because people always ask you when you start acting, they're like, girl, when you going to be on Tyler Perry show? When you going to work for Tyler Perry? And I'm like,
oh, girl,
I don't know. It's not like I can call him.
Oh, I get those too.
All the time.
We have to talk offline. We have to talk.
Okay. Yes, girl. But so I think that, having gone in for a couple of other shows or whatever, I feel like what's for me is for me, right? And I think that when we see this show, and as I've seen the clips, I believe that this role was meant for me. And so I'm super happy. And I think that's another thing. We have to celebrate other people too, because I would audition for those shows. I think I went out for one of the roles on Sisters, but when I saw Sisters and I loved it and I loved everybody on there, you know what I'm saying? I was just like, okay, come on, sis, win. That wasn't for me. Right. And I think that I like to support us, right? Even, I'm going to tell you a quick story. You might like this one. So, one of his other shows is Young Dylan on Nickelodeon. Okay. So the mom on that show, okay, her name is Nichole. So she is, we were at the callback together. So there were other women there, and some people don't like to speak at auditions. Some people do. We ended up speaking at the audition, because I liked her shoes. And then what was funny is that it was a callback. I loved her shoes. I was like, it was a callback, and neither one of us had our headshots. But because usually at the callback, you don't need it. They already know who you are. But we saw a lot of people with them, so we kind of had that look at each other like, oh, should we have had our headshots, right? Right. So fast forward, we get to set, and I go in the makeup room, and they're like, do you know the mom from Young Dylan? And I didn't know her personally. And then I saw her picture. And I was like, she got the part. This was the girl I was talking to at the callback, right? So, that was a moment where it was like, we're in here, these all Black women in here, right? At this audition. So, if I don't get it, sis, I'm rooting for you. I'm still about to scream at the TV. You know what I'm saying? So, I ended up walking past her room, girl. And we at the time we had not even exchanged numbers, names, nothing. When I tell you we met each other in the hallway, screamed, and gave each other the biggest hug. It was like we knew each other for years.
I love that.
But it was love, so.
I think that's so important, Courtney, like you said, to support each other, right? To cheer each other on, because what's for you or what's for us is going to be it's not going to pass us up, right?
It's not going to pass us up. It's right here.
I love you for that spirit. I love you for having that spirit and energy, because everybody don't think like that. You know what I mean? So thank you for that.
And we got to pass that on, though,
Yeah,
that's the moment we're in.
Tyler Perry shows and films often have and often tackle very important subject matter, right? What would you say the show's message is? What will people get from this show? What's the message?
what will they get from this show? Family first.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they will get the message that it's about family first, you
Right.
know, and that laughter is important.
Mm.
And you know, one thing I think that he always touches on with any of his shows is he deals with a lot of moral things, right?
Yes.
If you look at like him and how he was with Keke Palmer, or you know, it's like he's always trying to teach these kids about respect and
Right.
you know, things like that. So I think that, you know, he's not gonna miss in doing that with
Mm-hmm.
this show as well. And then we do touch on some things that are very important current day. So I'm excited. I don't want to give it away, of course, but I'm excited for people to hear those stories. You know how you would watch the Cosby Show and like you dealt with people dealing with Theo and his homework, right?
Yes.
Or somebody staying out late at night, or the
drink.
girlfriend,
Yeah.
or right. So like, or you know, so they dealt with all of those things, and we are going to deal with those things as well. So
I love that. I love that. We are excited. Tell the people what time they can watch next week, Wednesday. Give the people all the information.
Okay, so Family Fun Night is going to start at 7 with the return of House of Pain. Everybody loves House of Pain, and they grown now. Them kids grown, so that's going to be funny.
Yeah.
The premiere of Assisted Living comes on at 8 o'clock. No, 8, not 8. Look at me. 8 o'clock.
Check your local.
Look, no, the Family Fun Night starts at 7.
Okay.
Let me start over.
Okay, let's start over.
This is live, but y'all rewind, go back. Y'all on this journey with us, right? Yeah. So Family Fun Night starts at 8, 7 Central is what it is, right? Now, Assisted Living is going to air at 9, 8 Central. Back-to-back episodes on the first night. So it's a 30-minute sitcom, so you're going to get a full hour. And I've already set my DVR, so what I know is that BET is playing it twice Wednesday. Yes. So we got 5 days.
Yes.
5 days. And they're going to show it at 9, and they're going to show it at 11. So, and over here on the West Coast, we're going to be watching at 6 and 8.
And we're going to be tuned in. Do you hear me? Tuned in with our popcorn and our wine or whatever, water, whatever.
Yes. Whatever we drinking. Whatever it is, we're going to be tuned in. We are so excited about this show. I can't wait to see you on the show. Are you going to be doing, what other projects do you have coming up? Anything else you have coming up? Nothing I can talk about just yet. Right? Okay. So this is a very exciting time, and I'm just trying to take it all in. You know, I think one important thing is that you only get a first one time, right? And so this is my first series regular role, and I just want to make sure I take in all of these moments to appreciate everything and everyone who has been a part of my journey. I'm just taking it all in, and so we don't know what's coming for 2020. You know, projects are coming back, talks are happening. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to it. I hope my face is everywhere. That's what I'm praying for.
And it is.
Because I want to be a star.
You a star. And you know what? Nobody deserves it better than you. Court, with everything going on, with all of the exciting news, look how blessed you are that this happens in the midst of a pandemic. You have your show coming out. God is good. So I want to ask you, how are you practicing self-care? What are you doing to take it all in and just have a moment for yourself? I know you're a mom, you're a wife. What are you doing for you to just embrace this moment that you're in?
A couple of things. Meditation.
Okay.
I don't know if y'all have the Deepak app. Yeah. So we actually started on the abundance meditation again this week. Okay. I've done the 21 day. I'm doing it again. Okay. I walk. I haven't been to the beach yet, but that is on my list of things for me to do, to take myself outside of it. We have water here, so that's amazing. Reading, and you know, just making sure I unplug sometimes, right? I think that's going to be, you know, very important for some of us. And that's, you know, if it's too much for you, keep scrolling sometimes, right? Or, you know, take a different lane, and it's okay to do that. Nobody's judging you, you know. Right. That's why I tell people in this moment, you know, you can do whatever, right? You can donate, pray, march, protest, right? you know, we're doing something. But take time for yourself. That oxygen mask that we talked about is very important. It's a reason why they tell you to put it on first on the airplane. Because if you pass out, honey, you ain't gonna help nobody. You coming with, all y'all gonna be in trouble.
Amen to that. Amen. Well, Court, before
my homegirl, look, Nia said Jamal is your piece. Yes, he is.
Yes, hey me. Hey,
that's my husband. I don't know if you heard him in the Starbucks video as I was fussing. He was like, put your mask on. Put your mask on.
Look, first things first. We're going to be out at the protest, but put the mask on.
I don't care about what you telling her. Tell her because she wrong, but put your mask on.
Put your mask on. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So, Court, before I let you go, we're going to do a little thing that I do at the end of my interviews now. It's Ashley's 5 and 5. So it's 5 questions in 5 seconds. But it don't matter if we go long. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. Okay. What did you eat for breakfast?
What did I eat for breakfast? Nutribar.
Okay. Brandy or Monica?
Girl, that's wrong. The verses is coming out Monday. You ain't gonna get me. I probably got more Brandy albums than Monica, but I love them both.
Celebrity crush. Ooh, if you know
Jamal Gardner, honey, my husband, because he over there.
I love it.
No, okay, I'm gonna tell you I got two. I got a white one and a black one. Matthew McConaughey and the Royce Hawkins on Chicago PD.
Oh, okay. I love that. Favorite holiday?
My birthday? No. Christmas. Celebrate Jesus.
Biggest strength. What's your biggest strength?
My voice.
And your personality, your energy, your spirit.
Thank you, Ash.
Yes. Thank you so much for this, Court.
Thank you.
We will be tuned in next week to BT 6 and 8 here on the West Coast. Everybody else, you guys know what time y'all need to
find it. Look, 8 and 9. Okay.
8 and 9. Okay. Court, we are cheering on. We're cheering you on. Nobody deserves it better than you. God is shining the light on you. You're an inspiration to us. Thank you for everything that you're doing. And we rock with you, boo. We rock with you.
Thank you for rocking with me. And thank you for highlighting us, right? I appreciate that and continuing support. So much love to you. And we can talk off air, girl, and top it up. But I love you guys. And thank you, everybody, for watching and tuning in. I can't wait for y'all to laugh with us on Wednesday.
Bye.
Where's the buzz?
Oh,
Where is the buzz? You said was mine.